The smell of burned metal still clung to the old Jeep as the morning sun painted the quiet neighborhood in warm golden light. Every person who walked past had something to say. Some laughed under their breath. Others shook their heads with pity. A few even took pictures, convinced the rusted, fire-scarred vehicle belonged in a junkyard. But no one knew that the blackened Jeep carried a story of courage, sacrifice, and loyalty that would soon silence an entire town forever. Before we begin, if you believe kindness is never wasted and everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Beyond Single Dad. Your support helps us continue bringing heartfelt stories that inspire millions around the world. Every morning before sunrise, Rowan Mercer carefully wiped the ash from the hood of the Jeep. The paint had long disappeared, replaced by scars from a fire that had nearly taken everything from him. To strangers, it looked like worthless scrap. To Rowan, it was the last promise he had made to someone he could never repay. As a single father raising his 10-year-old son, Elias, every dollar mattered. Buying another vehicle simply wasn't possible. Rowan worked long hours repairing farm equipment, came home exhausted, helped with homework, cooked dinner, and somehow still found the strength to smile whenever his son looked worried. He wanted Elias to believe that even broken things could still carry people forward. Life had not been kind to Rowan. Years earlier, his wife had passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him alone with a frightened little boy and mountains of bills. The old Jeep became their lifeline, carrying them to school, work, doctor appointments, and every important moment in between. Then one terrifying afternoon, an electrical fire erupted beneath the hood while Rowan was driving home with Elias. He barely managed to pull over before flames swallowed the engine compartment. Rowan ignored the danger, rushing back into the smoke to rescue the backpack containing his son's asthma medicine. By the time firefighters extinguished the blaze, the Jeep looked destroyed. Insurance refused to cover the full damage, and replacing it was impossible. So Rowan repaired what he could with salvaged parts, leaving the outside burned but the engine barely alive. People rarely looked beyond appearances. Parents whispered when Rowan picked up Elias from school. Teenagers laughed whenever the Jeep sputtered through town. One wealthy neighbor loudly declared that the vehicle belonged in a junkyard, not in front of respectable homes. Rowan heard every word but never responded. Pride would not feed his son. Anger would not pay the electric bill. He simply kept moving forward, believing that dignity was measured by actions rather than opinions. Despite everything, Rowan never stopped helping others. During winter storms, he used the scarred Jeep to pull stranded drivers from icy ditches. When elderly neighbors needed groceries, he delivered them without asking for payment. If someone's lawn mower broke, Rowan repaired it after work. If a child needed a bicycle fixed, he stayed up late in his garage until it worked again. Few realized that the same man they mocked was quietly carrying the burdens of an entire community. One bright autumn afternoon, everything changed. The distant rumble of military vehicles echoed through the neighborhood. Curious residents stepped onto their porches as several olive-green transport vehicles rolled slowly down the street. Uniformed soldiers climbed out with perfect discipline. At the center of the convoy was a polished black sedan displaying 4 silver stars on a small flag attached to its front fender. Conversations stopped. Children froze. Phones appeared as everyone rushed to record the unbelievable scene unfolding before them. The convoy halted directly in front of Rowan's modest house. Rowan stepped outside wearing faded work clothes, grease still staining his hands from repairing a tractor engine. Confusion filled his face as dozens of soldiers formed neat lines along the sidewalk. Then the 4-star general emerged from the sedan. Every soldier stood at attention as the decorated officer walked toward Rowan with slow, deliberate steps. The neighborhood watched in complete silence. Without hesitation, the general stopped a few feet away and raised a crisp salute. No one could believe what they were seeing. Rowan returned the salute with quiet respect, his expression filled not with surprise but with deep remembrance. Years earlier, before tragedy reshaped his life, Rowan had served in a classified rescue unit. During one dangerous overseas mission, an ambush left several soldiers trapped inside a collapsing building. Ignoring direct orders to retreat, Rowan rushed back into the collapsing structure again and again until every surviving soldier escaped. The last man he carried to safety was then Colonel Victor Hale, the officer now standing before him wearing 4 stars. That rescue came at a terrible cost. Rowan suffered serious injuries that ended his military career. He accepted a quiet discharge, never seeking recognition, medals, or public attention. He believed protecting others was simply his duty. General Hale had spent years searching for the men who saved his life. After finally locating Rowan, he insisted on honoring the forgotten hero personally. In front of stunned neighbors, the general presented Rowan with the nation's Distinguished Service Medal, explaining that bureaucratic mistakes had delayed the recognition for years. He spoke about Rowan's extraordinary courage, his refusal to abandon wounded comrades, and the selfless character that defined true leadership. Every soldier standing nearby applauded with genuine admiration. Then came another surprise. The soldiers uncovered a fully restored classic Jeep parked behind the convoy. It looked almost identical to Rowan's old vehicle but gleamed beneath the afternoon sunlight. Every detail had been rebuilt by military mechanics and volunteers who wanted to thank the men whose bravery had protected so many lives. They had even preserved a small piece of metal from the burned Jeep, carefully mounted inside the dashboard as a reminder that scars should never be hidden because they tell stories of survival. The same neighbors who once mocked Rowan lowered their heads in shame. They realized they had judged a man without ever knowing his sacrifices. Rowan accepted the gift with humble gratitude, but before driving it, he gently placed his hand on the burned Jeep one last time. It had carried him through grief, poverty, fatherhood, and countless acts of kindness. It was never just a vehicle. It was proof that hope could survive even after the flames. As the convoy departed beneath the warm afternoon sky, Elias stood beside his father with tears in his eyes, finally understanding that true heroes rarely wear capes or seek applause. They simply keep doing what is right when no one is watching. If this story touched your heart, please write, "True heroes are never judged by appearances," in the comments below. And if Rowan's journey reminded you that kindness, sacrifice, and perseverance still matter in today's world, please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share this story with family and friends, and subscribe to Beyond Single Dad. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind the world that the greatest victories often belong to the quietest heroes.